John 10:34, Jesus looks the religious leaders in the eye and asks, "Is it not written in your law?" I said, "You are gods." From Psalm 82, it's been in the scriptures for millennia, and yet for centuries they taught you precisely the opposite, that you were born in sin, that you're naturally inclined toward evil. John 10:34, Jesus looks the religious leaders in the eye and asks, "Is it not written in your law?" I said, "You are gods." A direct
subconscious functions like the Garden of Eden, mentioned in the scriptures. Genesis begins with a garden, and humanity received a specific task to cultivate that garden, to tend the vineyard, to prune the weeds, to plant the tree of life. The choice of symbol wasn't accidental. That garden isn't somewhere remote in the Middle East. It's inside you. It's the territory of the subconscious, 90% of your mind, where everything you've ever experienced is planted. And look at the current state of that garden. It overflows with poisonous plants, programming of failure, seeds of fear, roots of inadequacy that have spread for decades without anyone to prune them. When someone said, "You'll never make it," a poisonous seed found fertile soil. When you heard you're worthless, another weed sprouted. When religion hammered, "You're a miserable sinner," more thorns grew where flowers should have been. You inherited this garden already infested, and no one taught you how to take care of it. Romans 12:2 offers the instruction that was missing. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewal, not destruction, not abandonment. Renewal. The mind works like a computer. You can't heal it by laying hands on the monitor. You can't fix a faulty program by singing hymns to the processor. You need to access the system, identify the corrupted code, replace it with new instructions. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between truth and lies. It accepts whatever you affirm as a direct command. If you declare that you're sick, even when you're healthy, it begins to create the conditions for illness. If you declare that you're well, even while coughing, it activates the mechanism for recovery. Doctors like Bernie Siegel and Dean Ornish have documented this principle in their patients. Visualization, the act of imagining healing taking place, triggers real physiological responses.
John 10:34, Jesus looks the religious leaders in the eye and asks, "Is it not written in your law?" I said, "You are gods." A direct quote from Psalm 82. It's been in the scriptures for millennia, and yet for centuries they taught you precisely the opposite, that you were born in sin, that you're naturally inclined toward evil, that you need intermediaries to reach the divine. 90% of your mind operates without your supervision. That territory was programmed before you could even question it. Your parents planted wounds they inherited from their own parents. Religion installed guilt. Society imposed limitations. All of this is fermenting right now, manifesting as illness, sabotaging relationships, and locking doors that should be open. The key to knowledge exists. Luke 11:52 says it was taken from you, not lost, taken.
The idea that you are gods comes directly from Satan. That phrase echoes from pulpits around the world. Preachers with impeccable academic credentials, surrounded by the magnificence of cathedrals that cost millions, repeat this warning with absolute conviction. This philosophy, they declare, represents a diabolical trap infiltrated into modern psychology to destroy true faith. Thousands of people absorb this message without blinking. They don't verify it. They don't question it. They leave the temple with their minds programmed to reject any teaching that elevates them to a divine condition. Here's the problem. Open the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 34, the very words of Jesus Christ. Is it not written in your law? I said, "You are gods." Stop and absorb that for a moment. Jesus doesn't attribute this statement to Satan. He doesn't condemn it as heresy. He claims it as scriptural truth. He's quoting Psalm 82, verse 6, where God himself proclaims, "I said, you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High." This is in the Bible. It has always been there. And yet, preachers call this very same idea a satanic trap. How is that possible? The answer isn't complicated, it's just uncomfortable. The traditional religious system needs to keep you in a position of dependence. If you believe you're a miserable sinner, incapable of any direct connection with the divine, you'll keep seeking salvation outside of yourself. You'll keep coming back to the temple. You'll keep depositing your offerings. You'll keep sustaining the institutions that promise to mediate your connection with God. But if you awaken to the truth that you carry the divine spark within you, what would you need intermediaries for? That question has haunted religious structures for 2,000 years. Jesus had contempt for the religious tradition of his time. He looked at the magnificent temples, built with gold and marble, and said, "Let it all crumble. It's just a pile of rocks." He confronted the Pharisees and scribes, the theologians and religious leaders of his day, with a ferocity that deeply disturbed those in power. In Matthew 23, he fires off a series of denunciations that would make any modern religious leader break into a cold sweat. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. They were closing the door. They were hiding the key. The mission of Jesus was never to glorify himself as a unique and unattainable figure. He said clearly, "The works that I do, you will do also, and even greater ones." He came to awaken every human being to their own inner greatness, to reveal that the kingdom of God is not in temples of stone, but inside each person. That's revolutionary, and that's exactly why this message has been systematically diluted, distorted, and buried under layers of institutional doctrine.